Thanks for tuning in to the Long Island Local Podcast, recorded here at Audio Workstations in Bohemia, New York. We are interviewing local business owners, entrepreneurs, trying to provide you with the best information on all types of products and services available right here on Long Island. I'm your host, Matt, and let's jump right into the conversation. Welcome, everyone, to the Long Island Local Podcast. We are here today with Katherine Leo of Just Konnect, with a K. And we're here to talk about all the different products and services, yes, that she is offering. So thank you so much, Katherine, for coming in to talk to us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We are just trying to get to know as many local Long Island businesses and entrepreneurs as possible. We're interested in stuff that's going on kind of organically on Long Island. So we can let everyone know all the cool things to do when they come here and visit, or if they're living here, stuff they didn't know about already. So that's our goal here. And of course, this podcast is recorded here at Audio Workstations, where we do, freelance music production stuff and podcasting and YouTube stuff. So my first question for you, if you're ready,
sure,
is when did you start or found the company?
So it's a bit of a story.
I'm ready for stories. This is what we're built for.
So I've always been an entrepreneur. I do holistic coaching. And because I did a lot of in-person and a lot of meeting people at networking events and things like that, business kind of had a lull, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? Because of what I'm involved in, which is wellness and holistic wellness, there was a censorship, if you will, on my Facebook account, and I wasn't able to even market that way either. So for me to be an entrepreneur, I'm a people person. I need to be around energy, and 2020 was hell for me.
Yeah.
So I had to reinvent something, and I've always designed shirts and different spiritual gifts and stuff like that for people, and people are like, where do you get that from? And I said, well, I made it. They're like, you should sell it. I'm like, I don't have time.
Now you have time.
Well, the universe gave me time. The universe will always push you to do what you're supposed to be doing. So that's where Just Konnect came from. So I had been doing hemp education in person. I went to colleges and I spoke. I have also been at yoga studios, anything where a holistic community would be.
Okay.
And I would teach people how to maintain their health rather than trying to keep up with bills and paying for doctor bills. Let's maintain your health and not get to that situation in the first place.
Yeah, the whole ounce of prevention versus the pound of cure.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when everything kind of, stopped for me, it was kind of like, okay, now what? But it was funny because the universe always gives you what you need, right? And I actually bought a Cricut right before the pandemic.
We also recently
it's the best thing.
Got a Cricut, and we're making our own t-shirts.
See?
So
I did. It's the best thing.
Awesome.
So I was like, okay, so the universe is giving me time.
Oh, just so the audience knows, the Cricut we're talking about is a printing device.
Yes.
We're not talking about the little insects.
Correct.
Just to be clear. Okay.
It's a cutting, it cuts vinyl, and it does everybody got gifts from me from the Cricut. So it lets you use your creative mind, and you're able to just see what you've created and give it to other people and see the joy in them. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that happened, and I'm like, okay, well, I have my logo, which is that Hemp Chick, and it's me pretty much in the lotus with the two hemp leaves. And I'm like, I don't know if I could use that. People are like going to be weird with it. But I'm like, you know what? Screw it. So I wound up recreating it with the same icon and just calling it Just Konnect. The reason that I started the company, Just Konnect, is because I was seeing all of the 6 feet, all of the separation.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, people just need to just connect again to themselves, to each other, and to the planet, because we were so lost. And especially like people like me, I know that they were going through a hard time.
Yeah.
So I started to go live every day on Facebook, and I would do meditation moments and just helping people breathe and helping people stay centered and calm in the time.
That's so important because you can't ignore the mental health stuff.
It's humongous. It's the biggest thing, because if this isn't clear, nothing else is clear.
Yeah, you don't want to sacrifice so much of one for the other, because ultimately we are minds that live in bodies. We have to kind of respect them both, at least equally.
Yeah, try to balance.
Yeah.
So Facebook decided to take down all my meditations and all of my holistic stuff, everything that I've ever done from the past. And I've been doing this for over a decade. And I just looked at it and I said, now what do I do?
Yeah.
So I recreated it with the Just Konnect logo, and I kept the icon like I was saying, and it was just, I do holistic healing where I clear people's energies, things of past trauma and things like that. And then I also do the spiritual tools. And then I also do the hemp education. The hemp education kind of took like a step back because nobody had money to buy anything.
Okay.
So the spiritual coaching kind of stepped forward. And again, the universe puts you where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, focus more on this. This is what you're supposed to be doing. So it gave me that time and opportunity to really hone in on that. And it's just growing like crazy, and everybody's just referring me. Is okay, I give your number. I'm like, absolutely. Because with energy work, I have to be careful because it does deplete me if I don't take care of my health. So I can't do like 100 people in a month. You know,
that makes sense.
I basically narrow it down to 4 to 5 people a month, so everybody can get the best of me, and I can get the best of myself. So it's been working, and people are on a waiting list. So I'm sorry, but
no, listen,
you know,
that's a good problem.
I need to be able to take care of my health before, if I can help anybody else.
Listen,
so.
Absolutely. Just to relate it to my own work in audio.
Yeah.
If I listen to speakers too loudly for the first 2 hours of a 4-hour recording session, and then my ears are shot for the last 2, then I'm not able to give the type of focus and attention on making things sound better. And so, you know, it's the same thing where you have to preserve what you have so that every client or customer that you work with is getting the best version of you that they can possibly get. And I understand that completely.
So
that's cool.
This is where it all started, and I'm here, and I'm excited to help people. What I call my clothing line is Conscious Collection.
Okay.
The Conscious Collection, Conscious Clothing. And it's basically, you know, things that help people think outside the box and spiritual, and also help empower them to step into their spirituality, but also have fun at the same time. It's like one of my shirts that I have, my favorite one, it says, "Keep your aura 6 feet away."
That's funny.
It was a play on everything else, and I actually wore it one day to a family event after all this happened. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, it's just a joke. It's just a joke." But people don't even know how to joke anymore.
Yes.
So it kind of makes people...
Yeah, humor is important,
it's
right?
so important. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to laugh. We're supposed to have joy in our lives. It's not supposed to be so structured.
Yeah,
and that was
absolutely.
a big growth thing for me.
That's important.
Yeah.
I think that we, in addition to a viral pandemic, we've perhaps had a pandemic of taking ourselves too seriously. And having permission to laugh about stuff and not get all uptight about everything that happens. It's tough to do if you're legitimately like scared for your life.
Right.
But you know, operating out of a state of fear for 365 days a year is not a sustainable way to live life. So I appreciate where you're coming from with that a whole lot. Did we say the actual year that you started?
2020.
Okay, so 20.
Yeah, so it morphed into
Okay, so we have
all
a
the rest.
morphing of a previous business into what we have now as
Correct.
Just Konnect, and that, as you just described.
Correct.
That makes total sense to me
Yeah.
now. So in a way...
it was made out of like necessity for my sanity,
Yeah.
so I can keep busy, because I was realizing I went to networking events, I was going to dinners, I was going to lunches, I was always out meeting people, connecting with people, and it's all gone.
Yeah.
And someone like me who loves people and energy, I was like, I got to put it somewhere. So the energy was going into creating and design.
And a Zoom meeting is not the same energy.
Totally not.
You know, it's trying at best. You know what I mean? You have to like put all your energy into remembering when you're going to mute yourself. And even as an audio engineer, that seems like a lot of work to me.
It is.
When it's outside my job.
It's like, where are you going? I'll be right back. I get something to drink.
Yeah. I just normally when I'm deciding who gets muted when, I'm being paid. So, you know.
Right. I'm just going to mute myself.
Yes. Well, okay. So that makes sense. So in a way, Just Konnect is not only something that got through the pandemic, it was sort of created from it.
Correct.
In a sense, as a reaction, as a response for both yourself and for everyone else who's feeling literally disconnected.
Correct.
Too many hours out of the day.
Correct.
Okay, that's really cool. What would you say? I mean, I can imagine the answer is about perhaps pandemic related, but what was the biggest challenge in actually starting that?
It was not being able to say certain things and not being able to market in a way I used to market.
Right. And that ties into the Facebook censorship
Totally.
thing. You know, listen, we have no ties to Mark Zuckerberg here.
Okay, well.
Hopefully he won't retroactively come down on our Facebook.
Well, that's why I'm very careful with my words. I censor myself before they censor me so I can get my word out.
Oh, man.
Isn't that horrible?
That's sad. Because,
sad.
Yes. And I do, on a personal note, want to avoid censorship in society. To me, that seems like a symptom of what we previously mentioned, of taking ourselves too seriously.
I get fact checked when I put a joke up. I'm like, it's a joke. They fact checked me. They're like, this is not true. And I'm like, obviously, like, it's a joke.
Wow.
So I'm not allowed to post anything unless it's 100% fact anymore. But by whose standards is the fact? So it's kind of like you censor yourself.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I'm hoping that we get to a place in society where we can take ourselves a little less seriously and understand that in a free society, there's going to be humor and there's going to be jokes, and some incorrect technical information will occasionally be mixed in that, but that ultimately we have to let people be the own arbiter of what they believe is true. Mm-hmm. And if you set up some authority figure as the arbiter of truth, you're sort of asking for larger problems later down the line in society.
I've always been a rebel, so like, what is happening now? I'm like, I can't.
We don't want the Department of Truth and Accuracy to become a thing.
Correct.
Yeah, because then we're living in a weird combination of dystopian sci-fi novels from a few decades ago.
Correct.
Yeah, and we want to watch out for that. Okay.
I told you about my hot buttons.
No, listen. This is one of the great things about podcasts is that the way that they're distributed is in such a generalized fashion right now, and there's no body of deciders that say what can go on a podcast, and so we can say that we're not okay with Facebook censoring small businesses on this podcast.
Then we will say that.
And we will say that. We're okay with saying that.
But that was one of my challenges because I have been doing this since 2015, talking about hemp health and how it's helping people.
Right.
And because I'm not a doctor, I'm not allowed to say certain things.
Right.
So my only way I was able to talk to people is that it would boost your immunity.
Right.
But because of this, whatever we're going through, I'm not allowed to even say that.
Right, because the word immunity is now a hot button word that is being...
So I had nothing. So I'm like, you know what this does. You want to buy it from me? Well, like, it just changes your whole marketing campaigns, No,
interestingly, though, related to hemp, the Hemp Act was a bunch of years ago,
Correct.
Right? And that's a national, federal thing that means that, hemp itself... The male part of the cannabis flower is okay on the federal level. And we've been in that legal environment for a while. But then it was also very recently that we got legal cannabis in New York, right? And so did that open up more opportunity back in hemp space for you when that happened, or? A
little bit, because people weren't as afraid of it. Most of what I do is education.
Right.
And it was like, can I see your products? And I don't ever just like talk about the products. I always talk about the education piece.
Right.
And I would always go into the history of it, how it was hidden, how it was demonized, and then go from there. And then people are like, wait a second, this helps this? And I was like, I can't say it, but I can point to what it helps.
Right.
So I would do that. And my presentations, I'd be like, look, you guys could read.
Yeah.
And that's how I had to do my things because, again, not a doctor. So I can't give medical advice, but I can point you to the information of the doctors who are giving the medical advice. That's what I had to do. So I would point out on my screen and they'd be like, it helps that. I'm like, that's what they say. Like, I can't say yes.
Got it.
Like, so it's all of the way you have to talk and market. But when that was taken away, it was like I had like no ground, no standing, no way to really communicate it unless it was like with somebody I already knew.
Okay. Well, I mean, I recently drove from Nashville to New York in a van with a bunch of my guitars and stuff in the back. And I stopped at a CBD store in Nashville that I've been to before because I spent most of 2020 down in Nashville.
Nice.
We almost opened up a studio in Nashville right before 2020, and then it didn't end up being the best year for that to happen. But luckily, we've got this new facility on Long Island with more capabilities now. But anyway.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad
I wouldn't be here.
I'm glad you're
so
here.
Thank you.
So I had to drive up, and I knew that my shoulders were going to get sore because I tend to get on the wheel behind a big van and get nervous I'm going to crash. So anyway, I knew there's going to be a lot of this like white knuckling going on. And so I picked up a CBD
Like a salve?
thing. Yeah. And I would, when I would do rest stops and stuff, or I stopped overnight at a hotel, I would, just rub it into my shoulders.
Right.
And it was a huge help in terms of just having the muscles relax a bit so that I could then white knuckle it again for another, 6 hours or whatever it was. And so is that like among the types of products that you would be offering
supplements.
in general? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's all supplements. It's all, regulated. It's a company based out of Colorado. It's my friend's company.
Okay. So they're like your primary source of materials?
Yeah, and they're out of Colorado, and they're just wonderful people. The products are really good. They're priced really decent, so people can actually afford them. And it's just a beautiful family, and everybody's just growing it together, and we're just helping everybody get healthy.
That's awesome.
And our quote is healthy, not high.
I like it. What is your favorite part about what you are doing with Just Konnect?
My favorite part is having people call or text me with their aha moments or their breakthroughs.
Eureka.
Yeah. And they're like, wow, that helped. That you told me about this for that, but it actually works for this too. I'm like, yeah. And I'm not just talking about the hemp. I'm talking about the energy work and everything I do, because that's more of what I've been doing right now. And they would be like, and I tell people, I said, listen, you're going to have a release. Allow it. No matter what it is, allow it. And I teach my clients how to say until now. So if you have something going on, you say, oh my God, I always did this, or they always did this, or she always did this. How does that make you feel when you say the word always?
Right.
Crappy. But if you say until now, it gives you a different outcome. It feels a different energy level. It's hopeful. Like
putting something in the past versus assuming it's going to be an infinity of something you're not into.
Correct.
Okay, that's awesome. And I'm curious if you could visually set the scene of the energy work for me of what it typically involves.
I know. Well,
I'm just trying to visualize.
Some people get weirded out by it, but I'm just going to tell you. So what I do is I tap into your subconscious, and we talk subconsciously to each other, and I'll find out where's trauma's hitting. So in what chakra is hidden, how long ago did it happen? Is it something you gave to yourself? Is it something somebody gave you? Did it come from this life, a past life, all these different things? And then we just clear it. And then once it clears, you actually feel lighter, you feel different.
Now, when you say subconsciously, we're not doing it verbally? Are you just picking it up based on the energy in the room?
So I don't even sit on the phone with them. How it works is I'll do a consultation with them. We'll do a couple of exercises to prep it up. And then after that, the energy work that I do is I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do something. Just make sure you're drinking your water, do what you got to do. And then I'll just tap in, talk with their subconscious. I know it sounds weird, but this is what I do. And then they tell me, their subconscious tells me how to help them heal. And so I'm their guide.
Can that be done remotely?
Correct.
Okay.
So I had one of my clients was in Australia. So it's not where I have to be in front. Okay. It's not like, you could do a distance Reiki too, but it's not like that. It's more energetic intent.
Okay. So it's more about you focusing on them as a person with your mind and just thinking of them and putting your attention towards
they literally tell me what's going on.
Subconscious
They literally tell me what's going on in their own body.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool. And does it come to you in images or words?
So for me, it comes in vibration.
Okay. That
I translate. It's just really strange. It's something that's always been, it's more of a feeling. It's always been something I had that I didn't understand what it was. And then once I realized what it was, I perfected it. Yeah. So I wasn't afraid of it anymore, but I always had feelings, and I always could just tell, you could text me and I can know if you're upset or not. Right. Even though you wrote, I'm great. I knew you weren't, So it was one of those things, and I just tapped into it more and really honed in on how to control it and to help others with it. And then I teach them how to do it for themselves so they don't need me anymore.
Well, that's nice because it means that you're creating a self-efficiency within them.
Correct. I don't want them to use me always. Yeah. I want to show them and give them the guide. I tell them, I said, I'm your guide. I'm here to remind you what you already know. I'm here to show you how to tap into yourself. You can tap into yourself anytime. But people forget. We come here with amnesia. Right? So the only way we remember is when we go within. So meditation is very, very big in my practice, teaching people how to reconnect with yourself. Right. So you can know what's going on. You could ask yourself, is this healthy for me? Should I be eating this? Should I be doing this? Should I pick that? Should I do that? And little by little, you'll feel a difference. because now you're aware. So I
Yeah.
teach people how to live aware.
That makes sense. I actually just listened yesterday to a podcast about mindfulness-based meditation and how they are starting to study it at the neuroscience level now and actually be able to prove scientifically that a certain
Isn't it
amount,
beautiful?
I think they were at like a minimum of 12, you spend 12 minutes a day on mindfulness type meditation, that they can measure an improvement on certain types of tasks that are done after that, right?
Correct.
And they've done it actually with military service people who have like really stressful tasks to perform and they want to do those things well. It's interesting to me. And so that makes sense a lot. I think it's nice that you're encouraging them to like not need you in the future, because it, on the one hand, it encourages people that they can be self-sufficient, but it also lets them know that you're not someone who's looking to just like get
Make a
cash
buck.
out of
Correct.
them every whenever, how often, you know.
Well, that's what happened was, so it's like with the energy clearing, I would do that for them, right? And they just give it back to themselves.
Right.
So it's like, let me show you why you're doing this. So that's where
The
with
maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where my life coaching came in with the energy work. And that's why it works, because they can do it for everything.
Right.
I have always had a hard time taking money from people.
Right.
But I had to step into a different place of my power and say, you know what, I'm giving of myself, I'm giving of my knowledge, I'm giving of my energy.
And your time,
And my
at the very
time.
least.
And I wasn't charging for people
Right.
because I genuinely wanted to help people heal.
Now, do you end up using time like the way we use in like music production or media content creation?
It's a deposit and then it goes from there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of how much did they need me through the week? Like if they're calling and texting me all week, that's a little bit different than if someone...
So you're deciding based on the amount of
Time that
service
they take.
essentially and
Correct.
time that it takes you,
Correct.
and then maybe making an assessment at the end of a week,
Correct.
and then deciding how to bill them fairly based on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that
I
makes
tell them, I
sense.
said, listen, this isn't going to be forever.
Right.
And now I get to show you how to do it. So then they help their family. So now their family got a free gift, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I like that part of
Yeah.
it. I like that part about, you know, helping people be able to maintain whatever types of things they need to maintain. It's like, I'm really bad with my car and I can take it to the mechanic and he can
Right.
change the oil. But then, you know, if he doesn't teach me how to not run it into the ground before I take it to him, then I'm just going to keep doing that.
right.
You know, arguably I should learn more about cars.
Maintenance is important in all realms.
Yeah, but listen, you live with your body and your mind all the time.
Right.
So you really suffer the deepest consequences when you don't figure out how to maintain those things.
Correct.
So I appreciate that. Okay,
Thank
awesome.
you.
So we're going to get into time travel
Sure,
machine. This
sure.
is this is the hypothetical
I
question.
love time travel.
Okay. I like it in science fiction. It's always a lot of plot holes though. So if we could get in the time travel machine and you could go back and give a younger, either way younger or slightly younger Katherine some advice about how to venture into this space of the spiritual healing and the hemp space, and what advice would you give yourself in that scenario?
Trust your intuition.
Okay, I like it.
That was it. I always knew it. I just kept putting it aside. Like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. So for an entrepreneur, I always say, if you have an ounce of an entrepreneurial spirit, just do it. Because you're just prolonging your happiness and your journey.
Yeah.
You're going to wind up doing it. You'll be 50 and you'll do it.
Right.
But you're going to do it.
Yep.
So you might as well do it and enjoy what you love, right? Do what you love and get paid for it while you're young.
I agree with
Why
this.
wait until you're miserable and try to fix it all? I don't know.
agree with this wholeheartedly. I relate to it a lot, and then to a degree, it's why we're sitting here in a studio, is because I didn't want to wait till I was older to do things
you
that I
love.
thought should be done, things that I wanted to do, try and address like, you know, issues within our little industry and trying to make it better for everybody. Okay, now let's get away from the business for a second. And what is something that you will do that's unrelated to the work that helps you unwind and recharge so that you
shoot.
do have that energy when you come back to clients?
I was going to say meditation, but it is related. But hanging
as-
out with friends and laughing.
Okay.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Definitely
The
laughing.
connection stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So social stuff, laughing, not taking yourself too
Correct.
seriously, making some jokes.
I have a group
despite-
on Facebook and I said, did you laugh today? And I'll just post something stupid and silly just to remind them, did you laugh today?
It's okay.
It used to be, did you breathe today? Because we come in and we forget how to breathe.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to breathe properly. And I won't say nobody, but a lot of people don't. They breathe shallow. Mm-hmm. So if you go and take a deep dip in the pool, you go,
right.
You're going to be out of breath. So you're going to take a deep, deep breath, and it'll help you balance and all that. But I used to say, did you breathe today? Now it's, did you laugh?
Yeah.
Because it's very rare.
Yeah.
And it's sad, right?
To smile at least once a day, to hear something funny once a day.
Yeah. Put yourself in a different state.
Yeah.
Take yourself out of the fear, live in faith rather than fear. And just, when you worry, you lower your immunity. Mm-hmm. I realize I can speak. Like, wait, I'm not being censored.
We
Hold
are
on
not
a second.
doctors, and do not go into the hospital and say, I worried less, therefore I need no treatment.
Correct.
But perhaps...
This is not meant to diagnose, cure.
Listen, I don't think it's a crazy stretch to say that a positive mental state can be reflected back into your physical state. There's no way around the fact that your brain and your body are connected. I know for a scientific fact that your stomach is an organ that has direct connection with your brain. And so for sure, what you eat and what you think. Are going to be correlated.
Consume constantly.
and it's not, I don't think, a crazy claim to say that you have an input and outputs. And if you have higher quality inputs, hopefully your outputs, like what you say, what you think, what you do, how your work goes, will be higher quality.
It's all tied in.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Thank you so much, Katherine Leo from Just Konnect with a K. It was a pleasure having you here today, and I'm happy to learn all about all these different things that you're offering. And for our audience, to find out more, go to justkonnect.shop with a K. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we hope to have you back one day.
Thank you, definitely.
Awesome.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to the Long Island Local Podcast. If you're interested in studio membership programs for music production or content creation, please visit audioworkstationsinc.com. And please check out our guest of today's podcast. We enjoy having on all local entrepreneurs. If you'd like to be considered for a featured interview on our podcast, please contact Long Island Local Podcast at gmail.com.